Back my little nightmares, me Queen Nightmare, and I'm gonna be doing a Drarry Fanfiction story. I am tired because I just recorded a story. It's 3 o'clock and I'm tired. Imagine that, huh? Anyways, I wanted to tell you something. When I was looking up for the pictures for this series, I came across, I remember that picture. That looks awfully familiar. I looked down, and it's it's in the top 10 when you look up. I looked up Drarry Werewolf. I kid you not. It was my video. I went, great, we love that. And I looked at how small my videos were, and I'm like, are you nuts? First of all, no one wants to have a 24-minute video, okay? They want longer than that. It's like I was trying to push for the 24-minute mark or like the 12-minute mark. I was like, let's go beyond it. Nah, let's just go blast through it. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys. I just had to say that before I started. I'm kind of angry right now. Something happened in the Snarry one. It's not like I want to kill anyone. Not yet. But, you know Dumbledore. We love old Dumbles, don't we? I'm not saying what happened, but it happened. Okay. DA. The next morning, everyone woke up early, so Neville and Luna wouldn't have to wait for them. Everyone ate, and the Daily Prophet dropped down on the table. Harry was a lot more comfortable now that Rita Skeeter wasn't the front page writer. He opened the paper and read the article. Harry Potter proves us wrong. Yesterday, Harry Potter and his band of friends, plus his boyfriend Draco Malfoy, were seen going into the Spirit and Beast division once again, and collected some records. And it turns out Harry Potter's Amagus is a Leashy. Leashies, once thought to be fictional characters, have proved wrong by Harry Potter, who managed to become one through an Amagus training. He was then seen traveling to the Beast division to, no doubt, record himself as a Leashy. Harry Potter has once again proved us wrong, and the Leashies are indeed real. Minnie gonna be mad. Poor Harry, LOL. I read Harry Potter and his husband Draco Malfoy, and I was like, did I miss something? No, it's his boyfriend, not a husband. But at the same time, I feel bad for Harry because he's a Hollywood kind of star, which sucks because they get no privacy whatsoever. Harry finished reading the article and sighed. At least this isn't something negative. I would rather have them not write about every single thing that happens in my life, though, Harry said. He downed his cup of coffee. The front page will stop writing about you in a year or so, I bet. There's going to be a new prince somewhere in the world. The Daily Prophet will focus on that. It's just a matter of time. Everyone left and headed to their first class potions. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday. Take out your quills and parchment, she said. Harry internally groaned. The entire period was just her giving a lecture and students writing notes. The group quickly exited the class and headed to Defense Against the Dark Arts. Hello, today we will be learning about the new species of animal that has been surfacing in the Daily Prophet, the Leashy. Mr. Potter, please come to the front of the room, Professor Ulrich said. Harry got up hesitantly and stood in front of the class. Harry, here has somehow become an Amagus. I'd love to figure out when. Why? This feels like a punishment punishment, and I'm not even a character. He said, raising his brow to Harry. But Magus is a Leashy. Leashies are considered father of nature in folk books and supposedly mischievous creatures that like to confuse unworthy travelers in their forest. They keep a deep connection with nature and animals. Grey wolves are used to Leashies to fight for them in many scenarios. See, I have construction next door. Leashies are also apparently able to tickle a traveler to death. There has been one woman in the Ukraine who swore she saw a Leashy bring a flower back to life. Mr. Potter, he said, he got Harry's attention. Will you please grace the class with your form? Bitch, is it tall enough? How tall are the ceilings? That would be my question. He asked. Harry felt unsure, but he did anyways. Get out of the way. Sorry, there was a ad that popped up. Not an ad, but my notification. He asked. Harry felt unsure, but he did so anyways. He concentrated and turned it into a familiar Leashy. His head sprouted antlers and his body became a tree. Harry was thankful for the high-rise ceilings. He would stretch a little. Can you speak to the flower, please? Professor Ulrich asked him. He held the plant close to Harry. It looked like a mouth with little teeth looking things. Leashies are known to be able to speak to plants. They can understand all languages, but can only speak Slavic. There we go. Slavic. It's Old Russian, isn't it? Slavic? Or is it still... I don't know. I'm able to understand what he says because I learned a bit in Siberian when I took a vacation. All Slavic languages are very closely linked, so no matter what he speaks, I should be able to piece together what he says. He informed the class. Harry reached out and picked the potted plant up carefully with his trunk hand things. Do you have a name? Harry asked the plant. Everyone was baffled at how Harry's voice seemed to come from all directions. No one could understand him except Professor Ulrich. The creature who tends the garden calls us Venus flytraps. Yes, Harry heard the little plant say. Harry laughed a little. You look adorable. What do you eat? Harry asked the little plant. I like those small creatures and the ones with so many walkers, the plant told him. What are walkers? Harry asked, unsure he meant legs or not. The things you have on you. They help you walk. Some types of creatures can walk, even creatures like me. But I cannot walk. I have no walkers. I love the plant. I want to be friends with this plant. Oh, actually, I want this bean to be my bean. I want to have a baby like this. So informative. Harry turned to the professor. Do you have bugs or spiders? Harry asked in Bosnian. Professor Ulrich pieced it together and found a jar that held tiny spiders. Professor Ulrich uncapped the jar and gave it to Harry. Harry waited for the spider to crawl onto his hand before he dropped it into the plant's mouth. The mouth slammed shut, and the spider was stuck. Thank you, the plant thanked him. No problem, Harry said. He handed the Professor Ulrich the plant back, and Harry turned back into himself. "Did you speak to the flower?" the professor asked. Harry nodded his head. "Yeah, he told me that Madame Pomfrey calls them Venus flytraps." But who doesn't know what a Venus flytrap looks like? It's the thing that looks like it has teeth, and it closes, and it literally digests anything you put in there. So, you're screwed when you get stuck in there, when you're a fly or anything. He told them, "Excellent! Have you tried changing into any other animals as well?" he asked. Yeah, so far I can turn into a bunny, lion, dog, stag, and hippogriff. I haven't tried any other animals yet, Harry told them. The class watched Harry. He looked so cool. Try changing into your Ukrainian snapdragon. They're relatively small, so you will fit in the classroom, he asked. Harry shook his head. I'd have to know what they look like, Harry said. Luna looked through her book and showed him a picture. There you go, she said. Harry saw the picture and then concentrated. He transformed into a Ukrainian snap. He flew to the ceiling. He used his claws? You mean claws? To cling to claws, not flaws. Cling to the ceiling, and he turned his head to a complete 180 to look down at the class. A couple were scared, but most of the students weren't. Can you come back here and turn back into yourself? Professor Ulrich asked Harry. Harry let go of the ceiling and in midair turned into an owl. He flew to the front of the room and changed back into himself. Thank you. You may be seated, he excused him. Harry walked back to his seat next to Draco. Draco gave him a quick peck on the cheek, and they listened to the rest of the class. Great. Now the lesson you learned about leashes was because this creature is not completely lovey-dovey like Harry. Leashes can tickle their victim to death by accident. So it is good to know that if you ever find yourself in that position, then to create a fire somewhere in the forest. The leashie will be too worried over stopping the fire to kill you, he said. He babbled on about leashes for the rest of the class time. Harry found out that leashes can control mind lightly. What? I'm so confused. Like making them think something or make their subconscious favor doing something. Harry could definitely use that in case something bad happened to him. Once class was over, they all headed outside to care of magical creatures. Once the four got outside, Harry turned into the German Shepherd. He continued to bark at him until Ron understood. He turned into a dog as well. Ron, let's fool Hagrid, Harry exclaimed to Ron. Ron agreed, and they raced down the hill. Harry turned into a black-haired Newfoundland, and the two advanced towards Hagrid, turning around and saw the two dogs running straight for him. What the? Hagrid said. He was stopped when Harry and Ron rammed into Hagrid and toppled him over. The two stood on Hagrid's stomach, and Hagrid laughed. Who are you? No student is allowed to own a dog. Hagrid talked to the dogs. Harry and Ron got off and transformed back into themselves. It's just us, Hagrid, Harry laughed. By this time, Hermione and Draco were all the way down the hill and walking towards the two. Mind them. They've been rowdy the past week, Hermione chuckled. Harry got up and hugged Harry and Ron. Oh, you got me, It's been so long since I've seen you. Hagrid laughed happily. He let go of the two and ruffled Harry's hair. Heard about the big news. Congrats on proving the Ministry wrong. I knew they're real. No one believed me, Hagrid said. Hagrid needs to be believed more often. Yes, he can tell secrets on accident, but he's a really good guy. And I think people should just keep on trusting his word. Yeah, Harry laughed, not really knowing what to say. All the students were at the hut. Hagrid started the lesson. He brought everyone to the edge of the forbidden forest and showed everyone a gray wolf. Apparently, gray wolves were pertinent, yay, to migration of a lot of animals. The wolf was chained up, of course, but it was trying to break free. Harry raised his hand. I think you should let the gray wolf off the chain. He obviously doesn't like it, Harry said. He was right. The wolf was snarling and trying to bite the chain off. But it'll hurt the others if you do, Hagrid said. Harry shook his head. I can't watch it like that anymore. I'll make sure he doesn't hurt anyone, Harry said. Hagrid was skeptical, but allowed Harry to unchain the wolf. Stay next to me, and I'll chain you up again, Harry told the wolf. It walked over to his side and obeyed him. He turned into the alpha wolf, and he sat down with the gray wolf. Harry listened to the lesson and talked to the gray wolf at the same time. How many packs are in the forest? Harry asked the wolf. I only know of my pack. Thank you for saving me from the giant, the wolf thanked Harry. The giant's called Hagrid. He's a friend. He loves all creatures in the forest, even the werewolves. He would never hurt you. He was just trying to show his students what you were for educational purposes. You can trust Hagrid. Tell your pack that the giant is someone you can trust, Harry told them. All right, and if you need a place to go during the full moon, feel free to find our pack. We have dens that could spare one more guest. The gray wolf told him. Thank you, Harry thanked him. He looked back at Hagrid and noticed the lesson was ending. You can go now. Hagrid is done with the lesson. Harry dismissed the wolf. The students watched as the wolf ran away, and Harry changed back into himself and joined the group. What did you tell him? Hagrid asked. Nothing much. The pack will know that you're a friend. So if you need him again, just ask, Harry told Hagrid. Hagrid dismissed the class, and everyone headed off to herbology. Isn't it almost... I'm thinking it's springtime, isn't it? Because of, herbology and all the plants that are out. So it's like this time of year. So wouldn't he be getting ready to graduate? If that's my speculation? Or is that just me? Because I thought that... Maybe I'm losing my mind. Or I'm thinking of the other Hagrid and from the other story. Because why is Hagrid so surprised to see him here? I don't know. The stories are mixing a little bit, I guess. Harry spent more time feeding the plants and petting them than actually filling out his worksheet on the poisonous flowers. He still got through class, and when that was done, they headed all to Transfiguration. Transfiguration was easy. The class was almost done for the year, so Professor Agnes was having everyone review all their spells. By the end of the day, everyone mastered tuning wizards into turning wizards into animals, turning them back, turning goblets into animals, and then goblets into animals, and then turning them back from animals. Oh my gosh. Harry couldn't believe it. He had another month left until exams, and then his last year of Hogwarts had been finished. Yes, I thought so. Another month. That's what we have. Another month. Literally less than a month. Ugh, I don't feel good. The thing is that I'm not scared about tests or whatever. I'm just scared that I'm graduating, so I'm going into a new territory, and I'm not ready. I can't believe the year is almost done soon, and I'll need to find a job, Harry said. Is there any, Hogwarts colleges? Because they only went through 7 years, so technically... Are they taught normal math? That's my question as well, because they're there the whole year. Whatever. I know, right? But I think I'll be good. I'll be good. The Chudley Cannon's captain is going to retire really soon. I was already being scouted for the position. If all goes well, I'll become the new captain, Ron said proudly. Lucky! I'm going to have to take another year of arithmancy and then take some curse-breaking classes. I don't know where I'll go to school yet. Hermione sighed. All I know is the garden back at the Malfoy Manor is blooming, and once I'm out, I can sell my plants for a living, Draco said contentedly. Harry thought everyone had a job or idea set up but him. He still had no idea what to do. He knew he could always become an Auror if needed, but he wasn't sure he wanted to pursue that path of life. Everyone headed to dinner. After a while and came back. They talked a little and headed to the dorms for the night. Harry and Draco had a shower before climbing into bed and going to sleep. I'm really dumb for not doing this again, but I didn't grammar check this, so sorry. I'm just in a hurry. You should try Grammarly, my dude. Don't worry about it, Alex. Did someone say something? I don't think anyone really cares about grammar. It kills many brain cells. No, it doesn't. It kills my brain cells for feeling dumb not to, correct them. Someone says, very true, same. Even so, I'd prefer quality over quantity. Yeah. Anyone with me? Can I like their post? I'm with them on that. Because I like quality. I'm not a big quantity fan. Because what's back just had a problem with the stupid ad thingy. So I'm going to go to the next chapter. Yeah. Going home. Ooh, this is a short chapter. I'm thinking of making this my last Drarry story. Then I'll try out some other ships, but probably outside of Harry Potter. I refuse to do Supernatural. Is that what it is? Because that's a sacred ground. But I'm also into anime and killing and stalking. Don't! No, Alex! My hun. No. Please don't. Killing, stalking. I wish they ended up together nicely. And that he wasn't a psycho killer. Well, I mean, he was when they met. But I mean, didn't just take it out on Yoonbum. But that ain't gonna happen. I'd probably just start my own story that's private. But I don't know. Maybe short stories can... maybe short stories. Can anyone help me pick what I should do? Maybe Attack on Titan? I'm just losing interest in writing Drarry Fanfiction right now. But I'm going to continue this story, so yeah. Also, I think I'm going to end this story. I wanted to make this story really long, go in depth of Harry's children and Teddy Lupin, but I might just make that the ending chapter. I don't know. I'm at a really bad writer's block you're having writer's block right now. It's not at a writer's block, but I get what you're saying. Also, if you're looking for another ship, maybe you could go for Attack on Titan with Levi and Aaron, or Marco and what is Horseface's name? I can't think of his name. Or Erwin and Coconut. That's what I call him, Coconut Head. Aaron's other best friend. Harry, Hermione, Draco, Ron, Neville, and Luna finally finished the week full of exams. Thankfully, Harry went through the full moon the week before, so he had a lot of energy. The group had said their goodbyes to everyone, especially Dean and Seamus. "We're gonna miss ya, Harry. You too, Draco," Dean said as he hugged the two. Seamus joined the group hug. "Don't forget us." Who could forget Dean and Seamus? Like, their names just stick in my mind. I can't picture them, but I know who they are. Seamus laughed. Hermione said her goodbyes to the others, as well as Ron, Neville, and Luna. The group boarded the train. It was the last time they were going to be on the train. Neville and Luna broke off to sit with some other friends. Hermione, Ron, Draco, and Harry filed into their own compartment and shut the door. Draco wore black sweatpants and a baggy green shirt. Ron wore some normal jeans and a muscle shirt. Oh, jeez. I don't want to see that. Sorry. I'm like, ugh. Hermione wore a tight pink top with some blue jeans. That kind of looked cute, I guess, for Hermione. Harry wore dark red sweatpants. Ooh. With a black tee. Well, it might look good. "I can't believe we're leaving for good," Harry said. "This was my first home, and I'm leaving it behind," Harry said rather sadly. Hermione sighed. "I loved Hogwarts so much. So much knowledge concentrated into one place. No other school can beat it," she said, reminiscing on all the studies she studied and all the time she got detention because of Harry and Ron. She thought of the war, but then the rebuild. "I'm not sure how to feel. I love the people, and I might miss all you guys," Ron said, smiling. But boy was learning tough. He sighed. Hermione giggled at that. Draco watched the castle drift farther and farther away. "I don't know how I feel. My Hogwarts experience wasn't the same as yours," Draco said. He unconsciously rubbed his forearm. He finally became confident, wearing short sleeves. The mark was barely visible as it is. "I didn't have any friends until this year," he said, smiling towards the others. Harry leaned over and gave Harry a kiss. Harry a kiss. What? Harry leaned over and gave Harry a kiss. What is that? You mean Harry leaned over and gave Draco a kiss. Their necklaces flew out of their shirts and connected together, forming a full circle. They separated, and so did their necklaces. "I love you," Harry told Draco. "I love you too," Draco said back. Ron pointed down his throat and made gagging noises. Harry turned to Ron and raised an eyebrow. "Don't act like you and Hermione don't do this all the time when we're not looking." That immediately shut Ron up, and Hermione blushed and looked away. So, what are you going to do now? Hermione asked Harry, trying to change the subject. Harry leaned his head back. "I still don't know. I can do anything, really. I got all O's. I'll just have to look through the paper for some jobs, I guess, Harry said. Draco chuckled. You could always own the potion supply shop. He laughed as he thought about that day he, Harry, Neville, and Ron spent the afternoon together going hunting for Luna's imaginary creatures. Harry laughed. I could always do that, and with you, I'll never have to worry about complaints, he said. The group laughed and chatted the train train ride away. Before they knew it, the train stopped. The people were exiting. They all grabbed their bags and exited the train. The Weasleys were there, waiting for Harry and Ron. Ginny was already reunited with the family. Come here, Molly said emotionally. She grabbed Harry and Ron into a hug, then Draco and Hermione. Dragon! Draco heard someone call. He looked over and saw his mom waving him down. Draco immediately ran to Narcissa and gave her a hug. I missed you, Mother, Draco told her. Narcissa kissed him on the cheek. I missed you also, she said. Hermione watched the two happily. She heard the familiar calls of her parents, and she turned around, and her parents were standing there with open arms. Hermione happily hugged them and said her greetings, and Narcissa walked over to the Weasleys. Come here, Harry, she said. Harry gladly gave her a hug. Everyone smiled at the small exchange. Okay, well, you said you should get your bags before they go missing, Arthur suggested. The group of kids left to grab their trunks and pets. When they got back, everyone headed over to the public flues. See you soon, Harry, Draco said as he kissed Harry goodbye. See you soon, Harry said. The two parted, and Hermione said her goodbyes to the Weasleys and Malfoys, and she walked out with her parents. Let's go, George said. He patted Harry's shoulder, Harry's back, and they all filed into the flue. Molly said the name, and they all whisked away to the burrow. When they got home, they all took a breath of air. Finally home, Draco said. Harry said, why did I say Draco for all people? Ron, oh my goodness. Ron said he levitated his bags up to the stairs and into his room. Harry and Ginny followed, and they set their trunks back into their rooms. They spent a good hour unpacking everything they had and placing all their books on their shelves. Once they were done, Harry, Ron, and Ginny joined the family for dinner. The food was lovely, Harry complimented Molly as he helped her clear the table. Thank you, love, she thanked. Everyone gathered around the living room, drank some tea, and talked about everything new that was going on. Have you figured out what job you were going to get? George asked Harry, and Harry sighed. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know. Harry dismissed himself. Go on, Harry. Tell us your idea. Arthur encouraged Harry. Harry hesitated. I was going to open a shop, a place where people can buy fresh, pre-made potion ingredients. I don't know, Harry told them. Ron smirked. So you were actually serious about that? I thought it was just a flimsy thought you had a long time ago. Well, at first it was a joke, but I'm thinking it maybe it would be a cool idea, Harry said. He never thought he'd actually be thinking of opening a garden shop of sorts. Well, whatever you choose to do, we'll support it. We'll support you, Ginny assured Harry. Ginny in this fic, because she's so nice and supportive, I'm not at all jealous. Wait, what? You're jealous? In other fics, people make her batshit crazy ex and jealous. That's so true. Why do they do that? You've seen my other Drarry fanfictions, and she's so crazy. I'm sorry. Well, whatever you do, you choose. We'll support you, Ginny assured Harry. Someone's commented, becomes prostitute. I ain't gonna lie, I laughed at that. I'm sorry. That's funny. Okay, sorry. Let's keep on going. They continued to talk a little until it got late, and Harry and Ron said their goodnights, and they headed off to bed. Soon, I didn't grammar check. Just stop doing that since I'm sick of it. From Alex. Okay. Busy day. How many chapters? Whoa, what did I do? I went back. Holy shoot. Sorry, I almost swore. For no damn reason either. Okay, so here we go back because it's glitching out. Don't know why it glitches. Ooh. That looks good. Let's put that in. Stop it! Go back to your book that you're reading. Stop looking at new ones. I need to stop doing that. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, let's explain. I like the one that said becomes prostitute. That's funny. And I can see that happening, sadly, to Harry. Okay, I don't care. Busy day. Harry woke up early the next morning and left a note for the Weasleys. Harry was heading to Gringotts, and he didn't want to have to explain to everyone why he was leaving. Harry climbed into the flue and flew to Diagon Alley. There we go. When he was in Diagon Alley, he had made a beeline to Gringotts. He knew they were open 24/7. And not many people were out that early in the morning. Harry walked to the goblin in the podium and got his attention. "Excuse me, I'd like to meet with Ragnarok," the goblin in charge of Potter Estate. Harry asked politely. The goblin sneered and called for him. "This way, Mr. Potter," Ragnarok said. Harry followed the stubby goblin to his office, and they both sat down. "What can I do for you today, Mr. Potter?" Ragnarok asked. Oh my gosh, this is so long. I just noticed how long it was. 2 things. I wanted to officially review my estate. And also I'd like to start a business. And I'd love a little guidance, Harry told him. Ragnarok took a scroll out of his desk and started to read it aloud for Harry. As of estate, when you graduate Hogwarts, you are entitled to the rest of your family's estate. That includes another 250,000 galleons and access to the rest of the Potter's homes. Homes? How rich was Mr. Potter? What did he do for a living? Was he a smuggler? What is this? Was he a Sami? What is he, a drug dealer? What is this? I'm sorry, I'm saying that on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't like that. I've said it before once, and they didn't strike me for it, so I was wondering about that. Access to the rest of Potter's homes. In your mother's will, she gave you 100,000 galleons, and your father gave you 250,000. And I already told you about Overall, that is for your estate. This one thing I would like to tell you that you are here. Remus Lupin put you in his will. Well, shit. And I think you should see it. Know that you are graduated. seeing that you are now graduated. I think that's what they meant. Ragnarok told him. Harry nodded, and he put out a short will. To sum things up, you are the godfather to his son, Edward Lupin. He requested that when you complete your school and figure out your profession, to raise him. All the Lupin estate goes to Edward, so he will access that when he gets older. Right now, Andromeda Tonks is taking care of him while she was waiting for you to graduate. What? Wait, isn't Edward Lupin Tonks's son too? Ragnarok told him. He rolled the scroll back up and put it back in his drawer. What about? What do I have to sign to accept the rest of the estate, Holmes and Edward? Harry asked. He took out a small pieces of parchment and handed them to Harry. He also gave him a quill and some ink. Sign these documents. You'll be granted the estate, Holmes, and the boy. Ragnarok said. Harry took the quill, dipped it in the ink, and signed the document. Ragnarok placed them back and shook his hand. Thank you. The money is being delivered into your vaults as this moment. Vaults! Do they have no room for the galleons, so they have to have multiple? I'm so confused. Like, is he going to have multiple ones, or is he just going to put all of them in one so one can be rented out? That's my question. Ragnarok dipped it in some ink. Gringotts will send a note to Andromeda about the changes, and you will need to pick the boy up. Visitation and all is between you and her. Now, why didn't he give his son the rights to see his mother? That's my question. Huh? I'm so confused. Now I understand you need business advice, he asked. Harry sighed. I want to open a small business, just one store, so I can sell rare plants and potion ingredients, prepared and not. I already have a provider who has everything I need, so I just need a store where I can sell it, Harry told him. Ragnarok squinted a little, but took a small book out and started to look through it. People would usually expect the great Harry Potter to become a head Auror. Owning a garden shop is very unusual, Ragnarok commented. He stopped on one page and turned it around and showed Harry. This store is perfect size for you to start with. It's 3 stories and it has lots of storage. It's in Diagon Alley. To buy the store is 11,000 galleons. No renovations needed, he said. Harry looked through the pictures. The store front was perfect. I'll take it. Where do I sign? Harry asked. Well, dang! I wish it was this easy. Oh, man. Harry asked. Ragnarok pointed to the bottom of the page at the dotted line. Harry took the quill and ink and signed his name. Ragnarok placed all the scrolls back and book away. All done. 11,000 galleons are being taken out of your vault right now. To open the store to get the keys, just tap your wand on the doorknob, Ragnarok said. He took the wad of keys out of his pocket. These are the keys to the estate. They'll glow red when you are near the door. Hey guys, I know this is kind of strange, but I literally deleted 44 minutes when I was editing, so I have to read it again. So this is fun. Right, okay. They'll glow red when you are near the door that the key pertains to. Nice doing business with you, Mr. Potter, he said. He extended his hand. Harry shook it. Thank you, Ragnarok, for all your help. Harry thanked. He left the office and disapparated back to the burrow. He walked to the front door and walked inside. Harry, is that you? Ron called. Yeah, Harry called back. He made his way into the living room. Where have you been? Ron asked. He was on the couch with Ginny, sharing the Daily Prophet. I had a lot of things to take care of. Signed some papers, did whole lot, actually, Harry smiled. He was a little overwhelmed, but he knew everything would happen accordingly. Molly popped her head out of the kitchen. Breakfast is almost ready. Come and sit down, she said. Everyone headed to the kitchen and sat down. Darn it, my dad's back. Okay. Everyone headed to the kitchen and sat down. The food was served and everyone started to eat. Harry just had some toast and coffee. You haven't eaten much, Harry. Something wrong? Arthur asked over his plate. It's all right. I just have a whole lot on my mind, and I'm not very hungry right now. Harry told him. Tell us what you did this morning, Harry, George asked. He spilled a little orange juice on himself. He sighed and cleaned it up. Well, I did a lot. I finally read over my parents' will, signed some papers for them. I also bought a business and got custody of Teddy, Harry said quickly. He avoided the other's eyes and drank his coffee. You did what? Already? Ron said surprised. Molly wiped her mouth hurriedly. Don't you think you are rushing this? I mean, you just graduated now. You're opening a business and you got custody of Teddy? You're moving really fast, she said worryingly. I know it seems that I'm rushing a lot, but I have a plan. I first need to figure out which house I'm going to live in. Then I want to start my business. I'm going to talk to Tonks. I said I was going to only say Tonks because they say her full name all the time, and I'm just like, you know what? No way. I'm going to say Tonks because that's how we know her as. Or Dora, but I think Tonks is more formal and nicer. Today, and ask her if she could keep Teddy for a little longer while I get everything done. I also need to talk to Draco. I've got a lot to do today, Harry told them. He finished his coffee and toast. He kissed Molly on the cheek. The food was wonderful, as usual. Sorry, I'm rushing around. I'll be back soon, Harry said. He climbed into the flue and flew over to Tonks's home. He stumbled into her home, covered in soot. He cleaned himself off and called, Tonks, it's me, Harry, he called. He heard some footsteps rushing down the stairs. It was Tonks. She was holding Teddy. He had blue hair at the moment. Harry! There you are! Come here, she said, extending her hands out. Harry gave her a hug and kissed little Teddy on the forehead. Hello, Tonks, and hello, Teddy, he greeted. Teddy giggled and his hair turned black. I got the letter just a couple minutes ago. How about we sit and have some tea, she said. She gave Teddy to Harry and she went to fetch some tea. Harry sat down with Teddy, and Teddy was almost a year old now. He was a metamorphosis, just like Tonks. He liked to have black hair when Harry was around. You can change your hair back to blue if you want. You don't have to look like me, Harry giggled. Teddy's hair turned pink, and he giggled again. Close enough, Harry said. Tonks came back with some tea, and Harry placed Teddy in the playpen, and he took the tea. "Thank you," Harry said. She sat down with Harry. "Okay, so tell me, what has been going on recently? Last time I saw you was Christmas break," she said. The two like to exchange letters, but here and there, but Harry only managed to see her once during break, where he snuck off early in the morning. "Everything is great. I graduated. I bought a store. I'm going to look for my home today," Harry summed up for her. "That's great! What store are you opening up?" she asked. "A potion ingredient store. Draco is going to supply the ingredients," he told her. "Really? That's great. But what happens if you and Draco break up?" she asked. Harry shook his head and smiled. Honest to Merlin, I think he's the one. So far, the only argument we've had was when our family should meet. Don't forget the werewolf thing. You argued over that too, so I guess he doesn't remember that. Was when our families should meet. Everything has been great with him. I can only see my future with him in it, Harry told her. It was true. Draco was the only one for him. "I'm glad to hear that. Now, I was wondering, what are you going to do with Teddy?" she asked, looking over at the gargling little baby. He turned his look to match the different dolls he was playing with. "About that, I know I signed the papers to become his guardian, but I was wondering if you could watch over him for a little while longer, until I set up the house and get the store set up. I'll help you out with expenses if you are tight on money," Harry told her. She waved her hand. "No need. I have enough money to raise him. I wouldn't be glad to watch him for longer. I do love him, but you've got to let me see him often when you get him," she warned. Harry finished his tea and set it down on the coffee table. "Anytime you want to come over to see him, you come over. I would hate to feel like I took him away from you. He's just as much as mine as he is yours. Feel free to see him whenever," Harry assured her. "Thank you. I would love to. He's all I've got left of family. I'd hate to lose him," she told Harry. Sorry, I'm putting jam on my toast. So I'd hate to lose him, she told Harry. Harry understood the feeling. He wished he was able to be with Sirius for a little longer, or to have Hi, Dad.
Hi, Laura.
What were you doing?
I'm very sweet, yeah.
Ah.
What a joke.
What do you mean?
Well, the neighbor took the topsoil, the sod off.
Sorry about that. I had to cut that off. My dad was complaining about something. Oh. No need. I have enough money to raise him. I would be glad to watch him for longer. I do love him, but you've got to let me see him often. Oh, wait, yeah. She told Harry, and Harry understood the feeling. He wished he was able to be with Severus for a little longer, or to have at least known him better. I understand. I'm glad that he has family still. He's lucky to have grown up with you, Harry said. Tonks took the tea away and placed it back in the kitchen. Don't allow me to stop you for today. I know you have a lot to do. I know I wouldn't want to be a bother, she said. Harry hugged her and kissed her on the cheek. No worries. Thank you for letting me speak with you. Harry walked over to Teddy and ruffled his hair. See you soon, Teddy, Harry said. Teddy giggled. Harry flew out of the house and directly to the Malfoys. When he got there, he made sure he cleaned up all the soot off quickly. Harry, is that you? Harry heard a female voice yell. Narcissa came into the living room. She was wearing lavender purple pajamas. I was about to sneeze. Excuse my clothing. I was walking down to start breakfast, and I heard you, she apologized. She gave Harry a hug and kissed him on the cheek. Sorry if I'm intruding in any way. I just had something I wanted to talk to you about. Draco was still sleeping, I bet. Harry guessed. She rolled her eyes. You know it. But everything is fine. What did you want to talk to me about? She asked as she guided Harry to a seat. She sat down on a chair opposite of him. Well, I just signed some papers that I've got a couple of new homes. I also got custody of my godson. I was going to view the homes to see which one I could decide to live in, but I have a very selfish request, Harry told her. Ask away, Narcissa said. I was wondering if I could get your blessing to ask Draco to live with me and help me pick out our home. Harry asked her. He was really nervous. She smiled. You have my blessing. Of course you'll have to ask Draco yourself, she said. They both stood up, and Harry hugged her. Thank you so much, Narcissa. Harry thanked. No problem, Harry, she said. I'll go call Draco down, she said. She left the room and hurried to Draco. Narcissa ran down the hall and opened Draco's door. Draco, wake up and get dressed appropriately. Harry is here. He's here to ask you something. Based on what he's wearing, make it casual but clean, she told Draco. Draco jumped out of bed and immediately ran to his closet. Thank you, Mother. I'll be down there soon, Draco said. Narcissa closed the door and went to throw on some appropriate clothes. She came back to Harry. He'll be down soon. Have you eaten breakfast yet? Would you like to join us? She asked. Harry shook his head. Sorry, but no thank you. I already ate. But don't rush on my account, Harry excused politely. She went to the kitchen. Excuse me, Tibby. Could you make breakfast today? Something quick yet filling, please, Narcissa asked the house elf. All right, Mrs. Malfoy. Tibby will make breakfast of omelets with sausage and green insides. She said. Tibby went right to work on the omelets. Thank you, Tibby, Narcissa thanked. She closed the door and kept Harry company until Draco came down. Good morning, Harry. What brings you here? Draco asked. He hugged and kissed Harry. Well, I've got something important to ask you, Harry told him. They both sat down on the same sofa. Narcissa watched proudly. This is me. I don't give them privacy. I'm just like, this is me as a mother. And especially when she was hurrying, that would be me as a mother too. We have been together for a while now, and I love you to death. I wanted to know if you wanted to live in with me. Move in with me, Harry asked. Draco froze for a moment, but then jumped to Harry and hugged him. I love you too, Harry, Draco melted. Harry gave him a long kiss on the lips. I have another thing to tell you, though, Harry said. I am Teddy's godfather, and he'll be living with me soon. You wouldn't mind that, right? Harry asked. Draco hesitated. Oh. Whoops. Oh my gosh. I forgot who Dora was. That's the grandmother, not actual Tonks. It's the grandma. I was gonna say, hold on. Why would they take them away from Tonks? But no, it's the grandmother. Okay, sorry about that. I thought they were gonna take it away from the baby as a mother, you know. But no, it's the grandmother. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. It just hit me a little bit, but sorry about that. Today I'm looking at, Draco hesitated. I mean, I don't have much experience with children, but I certainly don't mind. He's a part of your family, so I would need to be accustomed to him, Draco said. Today I'm looking at some of the houses I own. Would you come with me to help me pick? Harry asked. Draco nodded his head. I'd love to, he said. His stomach growled, which everyone heard in the large living room. You wouldn't mind if I ate some breakfast before we went? Draco asked. Harry giggled. Go on ahead. I'm in no hurry, Harry said. Great. Tibby should be done with breakfast by now. You can have some coffee or something to drink if you would like. Narcissa offered. The three went to sit in the dining room. I think a quick cup of coffee should be good, Harry said. They sat down and Tibby carted out breakfast. She poured everyone a cup of coffee and a cup of water. Thank you, Tibby, Harry thanked her. Tibby smiled and went off with the cart. Draco ate quickly, while Harry just drank his coffee and waited. Isn't it kind of weird that Harry drinks his coffee black, but in the other story, he drinks his tea with cream? Must be a parallel universe. Dun dun dun. I am freezing. Hold on. I need my ouch, I just cracked my elbow. I had to put on my sweatshirt. Harry thanked her. Tibby smiled. Oh, wait. Slow down, you'll choke if you eat that fast, Harry chuckled, while warning Draco. Draco ate slower, but still finished early. Draco excused himself and kissed Narcissa on the cheek. I'll be back, Mother. Love you, he said. Harry got up from his seat and kissed Narcissa goodbye on the cheek. Goodbye, loves, Narcissa said to both. She watched them both leave. Harry and Draco both walked out of the house. Ready? Harry asked. Draco nodded. Harry read the address that was inscribed on the key, and he hooked his arm around Draco's, and they both apparated to the first house. When they got there, they stood in front of the large castle. It looked very Victorian Gothic and with many flying buttresses and large windows. To walk to the front, Harry unlocked it with the appropriate key. They walked in and was met with a large cloud of dust. They coughed and swiped the dust away. Merlin's beard, this is an old castle, Draco commented. They looked around. Wow, this one is this one is one of the really old Potter homes. It's supposed to have like 2 ballrooms and a lot of libraries, Harry said. They walked around and kept coughing. Let's just leave this one. Who knows what's in here, and the dust is clouding my glasses. Harry said. Draco agreed, and they left the castle. Harry read the address and disapparated to the next home. When they got there, they were glad to see that it was a smaller manor. It looked relatively cared for. It was a brick manor with 3 levels, 2 floors, and 1 attic. With 3 levels, 2 floors, and an attic, there was moss and shrubbery growing up the house. There was some hedges around the home. Harry unlocked the door and the 2 walked in. There was only a little bit dust. It was only a little bit dusty. But overall, it was kept for. It's smaller and has a couple of greenhouses in the back, Harry told Draco. The 2 looked into around the interior. It had the traditional dark stained wood interior with red carpets here and there, with a large fireplace. The furniture was still inside, but they were covered in white sheets. Harry and Draco pulled some of the sheets off of the sofas and chairs. Everything looked almost new. Nothing was broken. They looked on the second story and found the entire corridor of rooms. At the end, they found a large library with a parlor inside. Draco looked through the books. There were a lot of stories and a lot of informational books. They climbed into the attic and looked around. It was dusty, but there was just a couple of chairs that had broken legs. They both went back to the first floor, and they went out the back door. They walked around in the gardens. The greenhouses were empty, but the glass was relatively clean. There was some flower beds here and there, but not that much. The greenhouses are okay, but the library is fantastic, Draco commented. Harry agreed. Do you think you could grow your garden in the greenhouse? Harry asked while smiling. Draco was confused, but then he understood what Harry was telling him. Of course I could grow my plants here. What are you insinuating? Draco asked. Draco wrapped his arms around Harry wrapped his arms around Draco's waist loosely. I bought a store with the intention of selling plants, a garden shop, if you will. But the thing is, I have no one to supply me. Would you like to be my business partner? Harry asked. Draco's eyes widened and he playfully smacked Harry on the arm. You did not buy a garden shop, he said. Harry shook his head. Harry shook his head. Draco hugged Harry. Of course. Oh, this will be great. I tried to find vendors, but no one would take me. This is fantastic, Draco exclaimed. He kissed Harry, even though he was laughing. Let's go. We have one more house to look at, Harry said. The 2 left the property and disapparated to the last home. When they got there, they studied the place. It was a full 3 tiers, with what looked like an attic. The building was tall and skinnier. It was like a cobblestone house, and there was some moss growing up the sides. The yard was clear. There was a forest surrounding the area. They unlocked the door and walked inside. The interior was a bit more modern. It was a dry wall interior with a lot of silver and green colors. The open windows let in a lot of light. There were wood accents about the house. The living room had velvety furniture, and everything looked the same style. The fireplace was medium-sized, and the windows were fairly clean. The kitchen was large, with an island that acted as a bar. They walked to the first floor and found the corridor of rooms, and each room had a full bathroom. There was a great room at the end that doubled as a library and bathroom. The third floor had a large study, a smaller library, and a couple of more rooms with bathrooms. The attic was barren except for a couple of this is the one I struggled with too. A couple of boxers filled with sheets. Do you mean boxes, not boxers? I'd be impressed, but no. Why? I imagined it too. They went into the backyard and saw a large cleared area just like the front. There was a cellar as well that went underground. Inside was a couple of bottles of old wine barrels, but they appeared empty. They traveled down further and they found one large greenhouse with crystal clear glass. There were no plants alive, but there was a lot of space to work with. The greenhouse is spectacular, Draco commented. They left and started to walk down the trail that winded through the forest. Draco stopped and looked around. I heard something, he said. Harry stopped and looked around. He felt someone staring at them. Harry turned to Alicia and placed Draco on his shoulders. Draco was surprised, but he held on to Harry's antlers to stay on. "Who's out there?" Harry yelled, although Draco didn't understand a word he was saying. Out came a small doe and a stag. Who are you?" the stag asked. Harry saw the little fawn hiding behind the doe. We're the new owners of the land. You don't have to fear us. I would never hurt any of the creatures in these forests, in these woods. Harry told them. "You're not a complete leashie, am I correct?" the doe asked. I'm not completely a leashie, but I still have all their abilities," Harry said. Can you tell me the other creatures that live in the forests surrounding this property?" Harry asked. "There are wolves, deer, birds of all sorts, rabbits, wild dogs, cats, and a couple of other magical creatures. It's been rumored that a unicorn walked through these woods, the stag said. "What types of wolves are there? And are there any villages or people living near here? Have you heard of werewolves around these parts?" Harry asked. "The wolves are gray," the little fawn said. It had such a small voice. "No humans live around here, that we know. The forest gets denser and denser as you go further. It's almost like there's no exit besides the property. I doubt werewolves will be around, the doe told Harry. Thank you. We'll be on our way now, Harry said. Harry walked out of the forest with Draco on his shoulders. He placed Draco Draco back on the lawn, and Harry changed back. What did they say? Draco asked. They both started to walk back to the manor. No one lives around here for miles, and there are gray wolves in the area. There might be even a unicorn. It's like the Forbidden Forest, but a lot less threatening, Harry explained to Draco. That's great, Draco said. They went into the living room and sat down on the comfy chairs. I don't know about you, but I love this place. It's smaller, but I don't think we'll need all the rooms for like the other houses. Harry said, yeah, the greenhouses are lovely, plus there's a cellar for you when the full moon comes around, Draco pointed out. That's right. So do you like the place? Harry asked Draco. Draco looked around. It's the perfect home to raise a little boy in. The forests are safe, and there's no one around. I love it, Draco said. Harry smiled happily. I guess we have our new home, he said. Draco and Harry hugged each other and kissed. I love you so much, Draco told Harry. I love you to the moon and back, Harry said. The two sat there and let all the realization kick in. Harry stood up, opened the fireplace, and he opened a jar that contained flute powder. How about we go and see the store? Harry said. Draco got up, and they both stood in the flue. They flew to the public flues in Diagon Alley. When they got there, they walked around. Harry was looking around for the store front. He finally found it close to the end of Diagon Alley. Here it is, Harry said. Wow, rude. The storefront was clean, very clean, and it kept up. There were viewing windows on the outside and a large blank sign on the top. Harry tapped his wand on the door and knob. He opened for him. My dad's moving a lot. Tapped his wand on the door knob and he opened it for him. They walked inside. Harry pocketed the keys on the counter. Do you like it? Harry asked. They looked around. There was a lot of shelves and a lot of area for display tables. It's great. Plus, we have 2 more floors for storage, so we could put the bottled ingredients up there, and have the fresh plants on display. Draco said. They walked to the 2nd floor and 3rd floors, and it was pretty cleaned out, with just some built-in wall shelves. They locked up as they left, and walked around Diagon Alley for a bit. They looked at the other stores and compared ideas for color and setup. They agreed on keeping the store clean with white wallpaper and white shelves, so that the color of the plants would pop out. They flew back to Malfoy Manor, and Harry dropped Draco off. Draco was going to catalog the garden and sort out some things with his mother. Harry said goodbye to Narcissa, and he flew back to the burrow. When Harry got back, it was about 2 p.m. He looked through the fridge and grabbed an apple to snack on. The Weasleys were outside in the yard. Harry headed off to greet them again. "Hey, I'm back," Harry said. He saw Ginny, Ron, and George playing around in the yard, shooting harmless jinxes at each other and chasing one another. Harry stood next to Molly and Arthur. "So how did it go?" Molly asked. "It was great. I found the home I'm going to move into. It's perfect. It's surrounded by woods," Harry told them. "That's great, Harry," Arthur congratulated him. "It's something I'd like to tell you. Though. I know I didn't console you guys first, but I asked Draco to move in with me and Teddy," Harry told them. He knew he should have told them before, but he was too worried of them what they would say. "I still think you're a bit young to be taking all these steps, but if you are happy living with Draco, then what are we to say you cannot?" Molly said. "I agree. You've practically been living with Draco the last year anyways. So if you are happy with living with Draco, he's okay with Teddy, then I think you should go for it," Arthur told Harry. Their words lifted a weight off Harry. He was glad that they accepted his decisions. They stood there for a moment and watched the others. "Thank you so much for everything you've ever done for me." Harry broke the silence between them. "You raised me as if I was your child, and I could only thank you for that. Living with you has been a blessing, and I'll forever be grateful," Harry thanked them. Harry got a little emotional. Molly and Arthur grabbed Harry into a hug. We've always loved you as if you were our own. There's no need to thank us. We enjoy having you around," Arthur told Harry. Harry heard the sincerity in his words. Molly started to tear up a little. "My baby is actually gonna leave me," she said shakily. Arthur let Molly hug Harry. "It's not completely a goodbye. I'll always come and visit. You are always welcome to come over whenever you like. I do not plan on leaving you for good," Harry assured her. Molly calmed herself down and let go of Harry. "Go and play around with them," Molly nudged. He smiled and then turned into a hyena and ran after the group. "There you are, Harry," George exclaimed. He tried to shoot Harry with a featherlight charm, but Harry evaded it and tackled George. Ron got excited and turned into a dog. "Come on, Harry," Ron exclaimed. Ron turned into a German Shepherd and chased after Ron. Ginny and George chased the two dogs and tried to hit them with feather charms. Ron got hit and he started to bounce around whenever he jumped. Ron turned back to himself in midair and fell down on the ground. "You bugger!" Ron exclaimed. He chased after George and George turned into a hyena. Ron had trouble chasing him, but Ginny shot a feather charm at George. He floated a little as he ran, which slowed him down. George turned back and ran after the others. Harry turned into a green snake and he started to sneak up on Ginny. She didn't notice Harry climbing up her leg, but she felt Harry wrap around her wrist. Ginny screamed and threw Harry through the air and into the bushes. Harry turned back into normal and laid in the grass. "Geez, that hurt," Harry groaned. He got up and stumbled back into the yard, rubbing his head. "Dang, you nearly gave me a concussion," Harry laughed. "Oh, I'm sorry, Harry. I didn't know it was you," she apologized. They forgave her, and they all continued to chase after each other and use each other as targets. Harry cheated a couple of times and changed into different animals to distract the chaser. They did this for a while, and soon they saw the sky getting a little darker, and they decided to head inside for the day. They got cleaned up, and they all had to get rid of the grass stains on their clothes. Harry helped Molly make dinner, and they soon served the whole family. Everyone sat down and ate. Hey, Mom. Is it okay if me and Hermione go out tomorrow? She wanted to go to the Muggle Park and show me how to roller skate. Although I still don't know what a roller skate is. Ron asked. Harry laughed. A roller skate is like a shoe, but there are wheels on the bottom. Harry informed. Ron nodded his head, thinking about the weird contraption. Of course, just be safe and don't break any rules, she said. And tell me about your experience in the Muggle world. I'd love to hear more, Arthur said excitedly. I'll tell you all about it, Dad, Ron promised. Harry smiled. He was glad to know the two were finally going on a proper date, not on Hogsmeade trips. Everyone ate and went off to their rooms. Harry and Ron chatted a little before going to bed. Okay, I was a bit depressed the last chapter, and I'm feeling a little better. I think I'll continue this story and see where it takes me. They may or may not have kids, but Teddy will be there for sure. Ignore what I said the last chapter. I'm gonna milk this story. Alex. Where'd my dad go? Hold on. Okay, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye now. I had to make sure my dad wasn't down there listening. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. I did. I absolutely loved this one. I hope you liked it too. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Is he sleeping?